Chair recognizes the gentlelady from Nevada, Ms. Lee, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Ranking Member, for hosting this hearing. This is an incredibly important hearing, something that permitting reform is something I surely hope that this Congress can get across the finish line. And I know there's a lot of work being done, but nothing as important as what this committee's doing. I want to begin just to say the U.S. Energy Information Administration, I represent Nevada, has noted that my home state of Nevada leads the nation in solar power potential, where nearly a third of Nevadans' electricity comes from solar. Similarly, there has been, the solar industry has invested $12.5 billion of private investment into Nevada, where there are 269 solar jobs per 100,000 residents. The bulk of that investment is, of course, rooted in our public lands, with nearly 12 million acres of federally managed BLM land throughout Nevada open for solar development. So clearly, this is a major industry in our state. Mr. Mergen, I want to ask you, is it fair to say that Nevada has the most to lose from the new DOI red tape requiring that the Secretary Burgum, a cabinet-level official, personally, I mean, that this is key, personal, I mean, we're talking about permitting reform, so now we're going to go back and elevate decisions to the cabinet-level secretary to personally sign off on virtually every permit for solar and wind projects with a nexus to interior moving forward, including permittings for siting, road access, and rights-of-way.
First, let me agree that the potential for solar energy in Nevada is extraordinary, right? And we've seen some of that in projects that have been developed, not just on federal lands, but on tribal lands as well. Enormous potential. The interior memo, I think, goes against the grain of everything that we have talked about this morning across the board on this panel, which is that permitting reform should not pick and choose between infrastructure projects. The demands on the grid, the electrical demands that we anticipate really call for all sorts of energy, and the development of energy in Nevada, the incredible solar potential in Nevada should move forward expeditiously. And I think it can, in light of the reforms that have occurred under the Fiscal Responsibility Act. I think that the Seven County case is going to defang considerable amount of litigation going forward. That's litigation against fossil projects, and that's litigation against solar projects as well. I'll stop there.
Thank you. I completely agree. Mr. Campbell, do you agree with that we shouldn't pick and choose?
Absolutely. I think that's part of the problem with the NEPA process. One group doesn't like fossil fuels, one group may not like renewables, one group obviously doesn't like nuclear. You can't use that to kill a project, and I do think that is it.
Thank you. Mr. Herrgott, I find your record of government service commendable. Thank you. And I do hope that we can work together to find a bipartisan permitting reform solution. You testified earlier that your current role at the Permitting Institute is to rise above the rhetoric, political posturing, and gamemanship to drive compromise. So I appreciate that. In that spirit, would you say that the actions like this new solar and wind permitting directive, which comes just weeks after rollbacks on renewables enacted as part of the Republicans' budget bill, are getting us closer to bipartisan reform or driving us further apart?
I appreciate the question. As someone that works with the Revia and Yellow Pine and has developed many assets and solar assets in Nevada, I agree with you. I will tell you that I look at that memo from a different point of view. The executive order came out at the beginning of the year, the way the president has messaged against wind and solar. The BLM state directors, Fish and Wildlife, were paralyzed to make a decision anyway, so nothing was going to happen. Elevating objective decision-making up to one person instead of pointing at 10 to blame Secretary Burgum, bring him up here, oversight, and halting it up there. You can't hide behind the bureaucratic charade. You have one person that just elevated the objective decisions. If he puts his foot and slows, and we use it as a kind of soft obstruction, then you're going to be able to call that out. I think it's a shock to the system, and I think that's not the only agency that's going to happen to. And whenever there's a Democratic president, they're going to do the same thing, because the 65 decision makers spread across 25 divisions across the country that are disconnected are definitely not solving the problem.
Okay, so, but actually, you, earlier in your testimony today, you claim that the system is so clogged up, there's no central database there. So you're basically saying because there's no centralization, but now we're all going to centralize it, it's going to make it faster. That just doesn't make any sense to me. I've been abundantly clear that I want bipartisan permitting reform. I think many people in this hearing today do too. But getting there will require some give and take. And this directive and the follow-up DOI directive basically is picking winners and choosers on the energy spectrum, and solar and wind being the loser. The majority has done, the majority has.
time has expired.
Okay, I'm just going to say that we have an opportunity to work together, and I think we should really work together in identifying all forms of energy, not picking winners and losers. Thank you.